Hi everybody, it's James Arado from Ohio Drone.
Hi, Rob Sharmat here. So Ohio Drone, we're an aerial robotics company. What we'll do today is just give you a quick little introduction to what drones in Ohio is all about. At face value, most people think drones are about flying in fancy places and taking really nice photos. And, for a lot of Ohio, that's true. Real estate, construction, technology, people want to see, different views of the same thing they've seen for years. But here at Ohio Drone, we are drone developers, research and design, safety consultants, also manufacturing, as well as, what else do we do, James?
Software and data analysis, post-processing of data.
So to give you an idea of what that means, is we were approached by a client who had a boatload of money who was telling us about how they couldn't measure the size of cracks with their drone on the side of a nuclear power plant. So it means a Sunday prototyping activity of how do you build a device using laser technology in which you can deploy rapidly into the field, in which you can use to get measurements on items. So as part of any technology company, you start with your prototypes. You do a wooden prototype with where you do all your custom math, prove it out, right? You move to a metal quick prototype where you do your industry standards, talk to your insurance companies, talk to your manufacturing organizations, and right now we're in our secondary prototype phase where we've gone to a 3D printed technology which we're actually retrofitting to a competitor drone. But when people say, what do you guys do all day? We spend most of our time hearing problems that our customers are facing with similar equipment or different situations or new types of missions, and we're the people who have to come in and figure out how to solve their problems. So the way we got started was we were actually kind of brought in by the Ohio Aerospace Institute out of next to NASA Glenn Research Center in Cleveland, Ohio. There is a drone technology gap here in the state of Ohio, mostly in what we call the mid-sized drone companies. Having a drone company is expensive. You're going to start with your insurance. It's aircraft insurance. So we are certified pilots. We follow FAA regulations. You have to do all of your standard TSA flight clearance. For us to fly outside here, I've got to call Lunken Airport, the sheriff, UC Hospital, coordinate my local no flight zones because we got a lot of traffic coming in from Cincinnati, as well as we got to be mindful of a lot of the public and events going on. So on face value, for general operators, hobbyists, they go buy a drone from Walmart, they go fly a drone. For those of us, when we're flying for major companies, a lot more detail goes in. So James, do you want to talk to us about kind of the software side, where software on drone technology was maybe about 3 to 4 years ago, and what our customers are pushing us to do now with software as a service?
Sure, so my involvement with drones was, I did bridge inspections before the FAA came out with their regulations on drones. At the time, the only guys that were flying them were basically ex-military, because they're the only ones that could get permission from the FAA. But they weren't engineers, they didn't really know what they were looking at. So I did a lot of the post-processing when drones first started being used for commercial operations, and kind of beta tested a bunch of different software and really learned about the pains that people went through and experienced most of them myself, and realized that although drones could collect data faster, having an engineer or someone qualified to review data from a drone was still very labor intensive, and basically you lost all the time you gained from collecting data quicker with drones. So a lot of drone software today is used for mapping. So that's basically when things are on the surface of the earth, or what most people refer to as the XY coordinates. However, a lot of the infrastructure starts to reach into the Z direction or vertical direction. So buildings, bridges, nuclear containment facilities, cell phone towers, wind turbines, all that type of stuff has a vertical component. And a lot of the software isn't able to always handle the vertical components. It's getting better, but you can use two methods, photogrammetry or structure for motion. Too technical to really dive into, but those are two methods to reassemble hundreds or thousands of photos back into what you took pictures of. So if you have a big thing like this mouse and you want it to hit into a computer, you'll take pictures all around it from all different angles, and then you have fancy algorithms that stitch all those images back together and to recreate the 3D model of the mouse. And then what people next want to be able to do is they want to be able to, what you could call, interrogate the model or ask the model for information. So determine defects that we look for depending on what you're doing. Building facades, a lot of that's cracks, missing bricks. A lot of that has to do with water damage. Bridges, cracks, corrosion, missing hardware. Cell phone towers, the biggest thing is antennas that are not at the correct angle based on how they're set up. And then you get into the future of what those will be, and those will be a lot of more artificial intelligence driven, so a lot of people aren't actually having to review the data by hand, and that's the big interest. What we uniquely can do is we can integrate the laser into that, where most companies don't know how we do the geometry and things of that nature. Rob has the IP to that, how that all works.
Yeah, and that kind of gives you the nature of an end-to-end drone company that is kind of the vision of the future of this type of industry. Small companies located locally in your cities where we're 20 minutes away from most of our customers, where we can work on your custom problems, either nuclear power plant, silos, your special situations that you might have with a very large bridge that happens to run over the Ohio River, which people are worried will fall down over the next 10 years, in which you've got your local expertise they can fly you the drone, they can do the specialty technologies to develop that for you, and then on the back end, all the software stuff, which you don't want to have an engineer spending 200 or 300 hours going through, looking at photos to figure out what's wrong. All of that can be automated today. So with that, welcome to Ohio Drone. That's a quick summary of what we do. With that, I was going to say we do some question and answers, kind of talk through how we ended up here at HCDC, and kind of where we think we're going to be going. So Ohio Drone actually, so I've known Pat probably for about 10 years now. Back when I was young and in school, this was the place to be. You know, you got your graduate degree, and then you went off either to one of the big companies, or you went off to HCDC and you started a company. I missed the boat the first time around, started a company, was successful, but someone offered to buy the company from me. I sold it and I went to industry. About a year ago, ran into Pat. Pat said, "How do you like industry?" And I said, "How do you think I like industry?" So pretty natural that Pat said, "Well, you know, this drone thing, people keep on telling me they're asking you to do a bunch for it. Do you think you want to get serious about it?" So a year later, we're actually doing quite well. So we actually just celebrated, I think June 1st, we'll be celebrating our 1 year here at HCDC, which is big for us. Today, we've got about 20 customers we service. Everything from small developmental technologies, where we're doing complex mathematics with lasers on sides of buildings to make sure that the bricks aren't going to fall down and hit anyone below, all the way to our biggest robot we got, which we'll show you guys here in a moment. It's about the size of an F-150, very, very large robot, and that's really the transition I think you should expect to see with us in the future. Today, today the industry is still very comfortable with what we call drone as a service or drone as photography. But where we're going with drone technology is it's more drone to do stuff. Every place you see a helicopter doing something, either transporting water or transporting people, or you see someone in a bucket truck changing a light bulb, the real question we have is how much of that bucket truck and can a drone do it for less? So again, we have a joke we called the orange buckets, which mean when they crash a helicopter, they have to bring ambulances. When we crash a drone, we bring a bunch of orange buckets and we put the pieces of the drone in the orange buckets. So it's the nature of the beast, and also when you insuring a drone crash is a lot less expensive than insuring a helicopter crash. So the market's pushing us in the direction of human replacement. Get the humans out of the dirty, dangerous, and dull stuff. Put drones there instead. We'll crash some drones, but they were already crashing helicopters anyways. Everybody wins, and you got a bunch of drone guys who get to build more drones every time we crash.